All right. You can hear us still?
I can hear you still.
We're good. Let's wait and I'll run the countdown real quick and that way. All right, we're back. I think we worked through everything. I hope we'll find out here soon if once people get in here. Let us know. Make sure if you could leave a comment, just let us know. You can make sure you can hear everybody because I'm not a tech guy at all. So hopefully everybody can hear us. All right, so let me grab my notes here because I did not. Here we are. Kelly, welcome. I'm glad everybody can get a face with the name now. You've been on. This is your third time on the show. The first time you talked about going into Buffalo, working for the Bisons. And the second time you came back and talked about your experience with the Blue Jays. So it's cool that everybody can finally see, who you are. If they didn't know you before, some of them probably don't. A lot of them are a Warren crowd who listens. So They did hear the story about how you brought me down to baseball from Buffalo, though, and we ate some lunch at Wicked Warren's. Good. Mm-hmm. That was the Thursday of member guest, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Mike, Kelly, Mike.
Kelly, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I can almost see you from my angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the computer's a little bit turned towards me. Keep you hidden. All right, so we're here to talk some baseball, and we're going to start it out with the breaking news today. I mean, not really breaking news, but just what I believe everybody who saw it thought it was a joke. Onion article, I saw somebody say. Another couple people were just basically saying, like, when I saw it, hilarity ensued, and then they were like, oh, fuck, this is actually real. So PETA makes a pitch to MLB Baseball to strike out the bullpen from baseball terminology. Quote, words matter, and baseball's bullpen devalue talented players and mock the misery of sensitive animals. They want us to embrace the new name, Arm Barn. What the fuck is this about?
I had the same reaction that you did. I thought it was an Onion article. I thought it was funny. And then people started sending it to me like, have you seen this? And then I started to realize it was real. I just think that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
So do you guys, as the grounds crew, are you responsible for taking care of the – he's still laughing. Do you take care of the bullpen area too, like that mound and everything?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's still all the same. Still under our umbrella there. We're not going to change it to Arm Barn, mound.
Right. So how many years experience do you have working in pro baseball now?
This was, my 14th year.
14th year. Have you ever been on the job and said, hey, guy, go rake the bullpen, and somebody got offended?
No.
Okay. I kind of thought you might say that.
I mean, what are we going to change the terminology next? You can't say, I'm in the doghouse because that offends canines. I don't know. What do you do?
Is that a place you spend a lot of time?
I guess. What are we doing?
What are we doing? And the thing was, obviously everybody's talking about it, and shit like this really does take away from people who are trying to do good things, right?
Yeah.
Like they're trying to better maybe something, and it may not be something I necessarily agree with, but at least they might be taking a correct route to it. And then somebody says something like this, and it's like, fuck, like I had something going, you ruined it because now everybody's laughing at us again.
It's just stupid, cat burglar. What are we going to change that because it offends felines? Like, come on.
I
What do you
think
got?
arm barn's offensive.
Arm
What if you don't have arms?
If you are
Yeah,
armless.
what if you're?
What if you want a barn and you don't have a barn?
Yeah,
That's offensive. I'm personally offended. I want a barn. I don't have one. Arm barn's out.
Yeah. So they have to come up with something different already because this isn't going to work. Somebody did say, I think, arm farm. And I thought that was hilarious. I think it was Phil, maybe. Phil said arm farm, and I'm in, which I get on board with that too myself. It has a little bit better ring to it than arm barn. But
yeah, it's ridiculous.
so let's talk some World Series. The Bravos, your team finally made it. I say that like my team's there all the time. But
Yeah,
lately they kind of have been. I mean, what,
Yeah.
3 and 5 years or 17, 19, 21. So I've been spoiled a little bit, which other people have been spoiled a lot longer than me, so I don't really feel too bad about it. But it's going to be it's chalking up to be a good series because it was a haymaker thrown by the Braves in game 1, and then the Astros respond with a punch of their own in game 2. So what do you think we're heading towards here?
I think it'll go deep. It'll go 6-7 games, and we're going to see a good series. We won game 1. We weren't going to win, 4 in a row. I knew that wasn't going to happen. You guys are good. I think your lineup is a lot better than ours. I think everything else kind of matches up pretty evenly. And last night you guys showed, the power that you got and the consistency in your lineup that you got. I think it's going to go 6-7 games.
Yeah, and the thing too, the only thing I'm banking on at this point, because I think the Astros pitching is not great. Like, these guys are pitching well in spots, but they're not like, these aren't your Clayton Kershaw's, your Max Scherzers. These are not like the lockdown Garrett Cole, like these pitchers who get paid a shitload of money to do this. These are just like run-of-the-mill guys who have been on the team for this season. And Framber Valdez, who got shelled the other night, he comes back. If you look at what he's done in the playoffs so far, he gets his ass kicked, and then he throws a gem. So you guys might be in trouble next time he's on the mound.
I mean, we're already in trouble. I know our pitching was the same way. We don't have we're not rolling out Glav and Maddox Smoltz like we were in the 90s when we were on that run.
There's no star power at all.
Morton's out now, and he was our ace. I mean, he threw an inning and a third with a broken leg.
I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about that
crazy.
A little bit. Okay, but here's the thing, okay? I have a theory on this whole piece with Charlie Morton. And this is my disclaimer. I'm not discrediting Charlie Morton. He pitched the final out of the World Series in 2017 against the Dodgers, and he had a great season. And from what I hear, he's actually like, I know a couple people in Florida who have ran into him a couple times, and they said he's a good dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I like Charlie Morton. Ground chuck, he's just fine in my book. I was sad when he left Houston. But I have a theory, because it's crazy to think that this dude pitched with a broken leg, right? When he got hit by that ball, he immediately waved off like help, anything. He's like, oh, I'm good. It's good. So I think the small, tiny little fracture starts there, okay?
Yeah.
And then
it got worse.
The stress of pitching to two guys makes the fracture grow. And because you saw the difference when he pitched to would have been Maldonado, right? Was the first out he got, and then Altuve was the second out that he got, right? When he pitched to Maldonado, he did not look the same. When he pitched to Altuve, you could tell like that dude's
something's
about
wrong.
To fall.
Yeah.
Right. So
I didn't even think of it. Like when he went out, I was like, what the heck just happened? It had to be his hamstring.
Right.
Because they didn't make a big deal out of him getting hit.
He made no big deal about it.
Right.
So that's why I kind of think like it happened, but he didn't maybe know it. Like, I got hit with a ball. That happens, they take one off the shin here and there.
Yeah, adrenaline's pumping, and he's just like, I'm fine, I'm good,
Right.
And then what's more impressive is, he may have put that strain on, but he went and sat down for 10, 12 minutes and then went back out there and went to Altuve.
Yeah.
That was kind of impressive.
Yeah, I think that, but that's what I think is
96.
Like he got velocity now. As he goes, Brent Strom does that to people. But I don't know. It's shaping up to be a good series. I hope it goes. I was actually, I had the green light to go to a game, and it would have had to have been. I'm not ruling out next week yet. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. But the standing room only tickets for Game 1 in Houston were like $550, which isn't bad. Yeah. But Atlanta, tomorrow night, $1,200 standing room only.
That's nuts, man.
That's a team that hasn't been to the World Series in a while, and they got some fans who are capitalizing on that. That's what that is.
Yeah,
But I was
that's
like,
exactly
holy
what it
shit.
is.
So
That's
yeah,
nuts.
I'm not ruling out next week. We'll see what happens. I'm off a couple days, and maybe I'll cruise. I don't know what. So there'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Atlanta, and then
Monday be off, Tuesday, Wednesday, and back in Houston.
Tuesday, Wednesday back in Houston. So if necessary, of course.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Houston has to win one on the road to get back. But if you remember the Nationals World Series, Houston lost the first 2 games in Houston, then went on the road and won 3 straight in Washington. Nobody wanted to win at home.
Nobody wanted to win at home at all.
No. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So we're going to get into Kelly. We did the My Hive mailbag. This is something we do it seems to be getting close to every week. What we've been doing. So what we did was we posted on the Facebook page, who are your most hated teams? Any sport, doesn't have to be baseball. Who are your most hated teams and why?
For me, number one is the University of Alabama fans are by far the worst. By far the worst. I'll put this into perspective, and I'm going to offend a lot of probably your viewers, and I don't really care. They're like Pittsburgh Steelers fans, but actual hillbillies. They are horrible human beings. They're obnoxious. They're the worst. Number 2 is the Pittsburgh Steelers because they are just they are what they are.
Yeah. What about is there anybody in any baseball team that you just can't stand?
Not really. There's not too many I like because I've been in the game for a while, and it's like I got players that
have been
everywhere. It's kind of funny. I was looking at the team that the Braves have played. They played Milwaukee, LA, and now Houston. It's all teams I've worked for too. So it's just like I kind of got connections everywhere. And it's just like kind of jaded a little bit where it's like I don't hate anybody anymore. It's just like whatever.
Yeah. I guess I could see like how that could be more difficult for you when it comes to that realm of things. So
he's trying to move up to the big leagues. He can't be out.
That's
there
true.
hating on
That's a
someone.
good point.
Brings him down.
Yeah, especially in today's world. Somebody 5 years from now in an interview is going to play this video and be like, "You talk shit on the Oakland A's. Now you want to work here?" So that's a very, very good point, Mike. Mike, go ahead. Who's your teams you hate?
For which sport? Steelers are terrible. Seahawks, hate them. Duke basketball, can't stand. Yankees, can't stand.
I'm not allowed to say that per the rules that I made for myself in the Boston
That's
series.
Not technically an insult, though. You're just saying you can't stand them.
No,
I think you're okay.
I can't talk shit on them, period.
Okay, all right.
I'm sticking to it.
Then let me say I hate them a lot. I think that's about it. Any team that Tom Brady plays for, I don't like.
Well, that's only 2.
Yeah, well, so the Patriots and now the Bucks. Bucks and Ballman.
Michigan,
yeah.
Yeah, I hate University of Michigan too.
Do you?
Oh yeah. Living around those guys were the worst. It's like your team sucks and they talk the most shit. It's like how does this compute? I don't get it.
So it's interesting to me. Like when I lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, the fans down there were like NFL was nothing, right?
No, SEC
NFL,
football reigns supreme down
there.
there.
The year I lived down
reigns
there,
supreme.
The Tennessee Titans started the season, what was it 13-0? It's like 2008, 13-0. And the bar I went to, because there's a Bills backers bar actually in Chattanooga, it was called Taco Mac, and I used to go there every Sunday, and there'd be like
I know
20,
that place, yeah.
You know that place? Yeah,
I know that place, yeah.
20-some Bills fans in there every Sunday watching the game. It wasn't literally until the Titans were like 8 or 9-0 that we started seeing people with Titans jerseys there. It was crazy. There was fans of all these other teams, but there was not any that had to do with Tennessee. Now, go backwards a day to college football Saturday, and Chattanooga reminded me of Erie, where you have Steelers, Bills, Browns, melting pot. Imagine that, but with Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee Vols.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw like knockdown, drag out fights.
It's not
when they
when they would play NFL down there, man.
It was fucking crazy. So that to me, like that always just was so. It was like a culture shock thing because I knew the South loves college football. Like I knew that everybody knows that, but until you like live there and see what these people
It's
are
insane.
like, it's nuts.
Insane.
Yeah,
The Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. That day is just completely insane in the state of Alabama. Like there's shootings, there's fights, there's stabbings. It's Brown Steelers in Erie. It's insane.
Yeah. So I guess I have to throw out some teams that most hated.
Not the Yankees.
I can't say the Yankees because I have a rule. Did you see the rule that was passed?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah. So because I thought the Astros had no shot of beating the Red Sox. Like they finally get a lead in Game 4, the first inning, 1-0 solo shot. Next inning, Red Sox 2-run bomb, and they're losing again. I'm like, ain't no way. And somehow they did it. And so now I have to live up to that. And I have like 362 days left or something like that I'm not allowed to talk shit on the Yankees.
Not that you're counting or anything.
not that I'm counting down. There'll probably be an emergency broadcast next
you guys
next
can't
year.
See the calendar he's got on the wall.
It's marking off
days. Be a countdown next.
Yeah. So, but the Dodgers for sure. I hate the Dodgers, and that's strictly because of everything that's happened in the last 5 years. Yeah, Joe Kelly, who was a Boston guy in 2018 when they were cheating, but it's cool for him to be a Dodger now and talk shit on the Astros. Like I just don't, or was it 2018? Yeah, I just don't have time for that guy. That whole team, they just bring it. And I'm not talking poorly about how they spend their money, but they're the Yankees out west. They have the ability to pay whoever the fuck they want, and that's what they do. They bring in, who they lose Bauer, and they're just like, we'll get Max Scherzer. It's no problem. Like no other team. There's very few teams who could pull that off. Like you're still paying Bauer to be out because of his sexual needs. Like, I don't even know what you want to call them. But and then they just trade for Scherzer. It's no problem. Like they have the the money to take on contracts or whatever they need to do, sign guys. It's crazy. So that part of I was diehard Braves in the NLCS. Like I was on some baseball pages talking mad shit on the Dodgers. And then when they lost, I'm like, well, maybe COVID will uptick in 2022 and you'll get another 60-game season that you can cruise right through and get that World Series ring. That has a bigger asterisk next to it than the Astros won in 2017. I'm sticking to that statement. Not a lot of people will agree with that at all, and I don't blame them. But 60 games. I mean,
I agree.
I think I agree with you. Banging on trash cans is hard. Someone had to really.
Somebody was using energy. Yeah, these guys just saved energy by playing half the season. Yeah, wasn't even half the season. So yeah, the Dodgers there. Football. If you take me back to our Edinburgh days, where I spent a lot of time with you, that would be by far Pittsburgh. And that was strictly because of what we were surrounded with, which was
it was horrible. It was all Pittsburgh people.
And they were and the Steelers got good during that time because that's when Ben came out and started hucking it around as a rookie or whatever he did. And it just was miserable. Everybody there talked so much shit. The Bills were terrible. So I had nothing to say except for just anger. I was just mad all the time. I think I honestly, because you know how people are like, you spend more time hating on my team than you do cheering for your team. Yeah, that was 100% me from 2004 to 2008, without a doubt. I look back at my Facebook memories, and all my posts are just like ripping on Pittsburgh. I'm just like, Jesus, I was a pissed off kid back then. I've calmed down a lot since then. I still don't like them, but I don't hate them like I did. And then and like we talked about too, like Brady, it got to the point with me for the Patriots, like it was hard to hate them because they were just Brady's so good. And it just made it difficult for me to not like them. And the way Belichick ran things, a lot of it I agree with. Pay your lines on both sides of the ball. That's who you're giving money to, the offensive line, the defensive line. You draft a running back when his rookie contract's up. piece the fuck out. We'll draft another one. We don't need Dion Lewis.
Yep.
Was a prime example of that. Wanted money.
Yep.
And Belichick was like, all right,
I think
we'll get
that's-
James
Thanks.
White. Or
Appreciate you.
we'll get whoever is next. It didn't.
That's part of the reason I hate the Brady team so much is because like everyone just like, oh, Brady brings greatness everywhere. No, he just takes less money because he's married to a smoking hot model who's worth $300 million.
And that's
And, like, so he just takes less money. He gets good defense. Smart guy.
And that's
He's
the
smart.
thing. That's the
best he
thing, though,
does.
is that's what's like about Brady to me is respectable. Is the fact that he has always taken less money to keep his teams more competitive.
Yeah.
And if he's willing to do that to win,
Yeah.
then that I hope for a guy like that on your team. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
So it just became a respect thing. Like I hated the Patriots, and I still like, they're a division foe of Buffalo, but like the Jets, it's hard to hate. They're
they're
Lions.
horrible.
Yeah, they're so
You can't
bad.
hate them. You feel bad.
You're right.
Like Lions
Honestly,
fans,
of
too.
the three
Yeah.
teams, the Dolphins would be the one I dislike the most. And even this year now, it's like, well, yeah, and they play the Bills this week. You'll probably end up fucking upsetting them somehow because I'm so anti them. But no, what about, okay, so we're going to change it up. Who is like a secret crush team that if you didn't have a favorite team, like if I didn't like the Bills, for example, I would have been a Green Bay Packer fan. I have a secret little thing for the Packers where like the only team I don't cheer for them against is Buffalo. Or if I have money on the game, which happens a lot. But yeah, so is there any teams like that you have that you're kind of like, man, I kind of like them a little bit? And you can't say Blue Jays.
Oh man, that was gonna be my go-to.
I knew it was.
when I was a kid, though, I was a Blue Jays fan just because I loved Kelly Gruber, who played third base, because we had the same name.
Same name, yeah, that's true.
But-
and that was in the Joe Carter, Paul
that was that
Molitor,
era.
John Allred.
Yeah,
That was a cool team back in the day.
yeah, that was that era.
And
But I don't know. I like the Cardinals are always respectable. They're a classy organization. I like them.
St. Louis?
So, yeah, so I guess it would have to be
They
St. Louis.
hacked into the Astros emails.
I don't care.
They're-
Who wasn't doing slimy things?
Okay.
Everybody was slimy.
That's fair,
Everybody
but it
slimy.
was a
Just
guy-
who got caught.
The guy who used to work for Houston leaves and goes to the Cardinals and then hacks into.
Well, that's their
Definitely
fault
not
because they didn't
email.
change the passwords. They didn't really hack. They just didn't change the passwords.
that actually could be it. Is like password 1, 2, 3,
No, that's
4.
really what it was. They didn't change the passwords.
So he just went back in. Is that what happened?
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's kind of Houston's fault. All right, respect the Cardinals,
Yeah, man.
the Birds.
Gonna be
What
that
about you?
stupid, you know?
Secret crush team.
I don't think I really have a secret crush team. Usually, like I just I root for players. Like there's like I always thought the Saints were like a real solid team. So if the Niners weren't going to win it, I'd be okay.
My
I like
my
Breeze,
grandfather was a Saints fan.
But yeah, just usually if there's a player on the team I like right now, like Browns and the Bills are kind of my AFC teams, just because they were terrible for so long.
And
It's
they're
fun to watch
local.
them win.
Yeah, there's
like,
a lot of fans
a lot
around.
of buddies I know like them, so kind of root for them. But yeah, mostly just it's player based.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any on. I mean, the two sports I only have favorite teams of is baseball and football. Like I don't have a favorite NBA team. I don't have a favorite. Well, I do have a favorite hockey team
You
now.
do have a hockey team.
I announced myself as a Seattle Kraken fan because they're brand new. So nobody can say that I jumped on a bandwagon because they're a brand new team. Nobody knows what they're going to be like. Turns out that they haven't won that much, I don't think. But they retired to number 30. They're doing things.
Well, I think that for me, one that would kind of be a closet fan would be Alabama. Like I just like for the same reason you like the Patriots.
Alabama.
Yeah, I just like Alabama football.
Just respect.
Just respect. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
at first I hated them, but then it was just, okay, I kind of like to watch them just beat up on, Evil Empire just beating up on
See, so
everybody.
now I'm sitting next to one of those fans that you talked about.
No.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
You're out of here.
I'm out.
You're out.
Out.
College football. I mean, there's teams I hate though in those sports that I don't have a favorite team. Like anybody LeBron plays for.
Yep.
Don't like them.
Yep.
That's automatically on my list. College football, Ohio State.
Yeah. Notre Dame is one for me that I just because they mess everything up.
Yeah.
Join the
yeah.
conference.
Well, no. Okay. So Notre Dame would also be on my list of teams
Yeah.
that I hate because yes, join a conference.
Yeah. You just
And for
screwed it up
two,
for-
I'm pretty sure every time I've ever bet on Notre Dame, whichever way it was, for or against them, I'm probably like 0-24. Still don't learn my lesson. I'm like, oh, this is the week. And so them and Pitt, I've given up on. I don't bet on either of those two teams ever, because no matter what way I go about it, it just never works out in my favor. And I chalk it up to all the shit that I've talked on them. It just all comes back around. So I have a couple that I'm going to read that were from the Facebook page, and we'll discuss those. So Ryan Klein, host of the Me, Myself, and Rye podcast, says, right now my most, and this is actually a good response. Right now my most hated college team is my own, Penn State football. They just continue to break my heart every year. The one team of mine I've never seen win a title, get my hopes up, and they let me down. 10-2, 9-3 are good seasons, but I've seen enough of Penn State in the Outback Bowl.
Yep.
So that's actually a really good. No, that's a really good response, because you
that's fair.
You know, yeah, I mean, I definitely went through some like love-hate with the Bills for a long time.
I'm currently
because it's just like
I know how it goes.
It's just I don't know. It's I think that's still what's weird about them being good now is like at first I found myself really hesitant like to believe it, to be like, yeah, they're a legit team, because there are so many times I saw them looking like, hey, these guys could be okay, and then they just shit the bed, like the Fitzy year, the one Fitzy year where he was killing it, and they signed him to an extension and won 3 games the rest of the season, I think. Hunter Geckel says college depends on the sport. I mean, it's football. For football, it's Ohio State and Bama, because they've been winning programs, just like everyone hated Miami in the 90s because they were a winning program. Basketball, it's UNC and Duke, again, because they win. Everyone hates winners. Oh, and he references the Warren Flag Football League. He says, I bet it's the Snakes. It's not because we're bad people. It's because we always win. He's right. Flag football team is pretty good. Bobby Pring, Patriots, because of all the years they were good. He's a Bills fan. Cowboys, because they say Super Bowl, even though they have trash teams. Aren't you a Cowboys fan, Kelly?
I'm a Cowboys fan. Yes.
They're looking pretty good this year.
We're looking okay. I'm still not sold on them yet. I know Diggs is unbelievable on defense this year.
He is really good.
He's really good.
Yeah. Surprisingly, our defense has been good. If the O-line can hold up, and that's always been a problem with Tyron Smith, is perpetually hurt, it feels like. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still not all in on him.
I saw today, too, is that Micah Parsons, for rookie rankings on both sides of the ball, like overall rookie rankings, he's ranked 3rd right now out of all the rookies. Jamar Chase is 1st, obviously, because he has like 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. They're both really good, yeah. Jamar Chase is just in a position where he can look more flashy than what Parsons can do. So let me go through another one here. Andy McIntosh. I think it's more of players on teams in today's world. Patriots hated for so many years due to Brady. Miami and now the Lakers due to LeBron. Big money teams like the Dodgers, Yankees, Cowboys. Hockey money is so minimal that's more hate based on divisions, which that's probably true too. There's like teams that hate each other and fan bases that hate each other because the teams have rivalry. Like
it's tradition there to hate them,
Right. In like Detroit, Colorado, back in like late 90s when they were beating the shit out of each other all the time. And Andy says in college, I think it's the team, just like Hunter said, people hate winners, Alabama, Ohio State. So, and it's regional, he says. It's regional as well, which is definitely true for college football because like we just discussed about like Chattanooga. And even, I mean, here you have like this side of Pennsylvania, Pitt and Penn State fans, which they played a few times recently, but now they're off again. And I think I asked California this. I think he said like 2027, maybe.
Even Pitt, like other than Andrew Morrison, I don't know if I could name another Pitt fan.
I know a few Pitt fans. Like, Mike Boyd, winner of the fan rant. It
just seems like they're not really relevant anymore, so no one cares, kind of deal.
Well, they're relevant now because they're about to win the ACC.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, not that that's a huge accomplishment this year because Clemson sucks, but Tim Zaffino says Yankees because their overspending has ruined baseball. Cowboys because ESPN overrated them every year. Notre Dame for the same reason. Ohio State because their fans are idiots.
Seems to be a common theme.
Right. So Kelly, getting off of the this team conversation that we're having, what's it like for you right now with baseball being done and going into winter? Like what does that entail for you?
It's quiet. It's very, very quiet, which is nice. It's a lot of just kind of taking care of the equipment. I'm still mowing the field, still doing things. It's just not the busy everyday baseball activities kind of stuff. It's just all the last little bit, putting things away and taking inventory of what I got so I can order things. And
is there like a period of time where you just don't even have to go there? Like, can you do your budgeting and everything from home, or do you have to go into
pretty
your
much
office?
today I was, for the most part, if it's raining, I'm at home doing virtual meetings or working on budget stuff or planning for next year and all that kind of stuff, which is nice because they give you that freedom. And now with everybody doing Zoom and all that kind of stuff, it makes things a lot easier to communicate. You don't have to be at work all the time.
Right. No, that definitely seems like a pretty chill winter for you then. Like you don't, when do you report back and start getting things going again?
Oh, it just depends on the weather. I mean, typically early mid-March is kind of, what I earmark for really starting to get going again. But now I'm in Buffalo. Who knows?
Yeah.
Our first home game, I think, is April 7th.
Yeah,
you're 7th, something like that, which is just insane.
You have a snowplow for the field?
I'm ready for it, yeah.
So you have to do you get into the hiring? Like, is your whole crew come back, or how's that work?
Yeah. So I know most of the guys were pretty excited just from last year, work with the Blue Jays and all that. And the newer guys were really excited to come back and work again. They like doing it. And I think I got everybody pretty much for the most part coming back. So I'm pretty happy I don't have to hire a whole lot.
Are they interns? Some of them, or are they all full-time employees?
That's such a hazy area now with legality on what you can call an intern and the duties of an intern, but they're all.
Oh, really? That's changed?
Yeah. Especially in New York State, it's weird. But they were just regular game day guys that I would bring in, hourly employees.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, appreciate you joining us,
dude. Anytime.
Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this again, and maybe here in like a week or two when the
once we get a final result here.
Once we get a final result, we'll allow the one person to give the other person tongue lashing. Hopefully, it's me who gets to do that. But I said this the other day too. Like, I would not be mad if the Astros don't win this series. I'm not going to be pissed off. I'll be bummed a little bit. If it was to the Dodgers, I'd be pissed.
Either way, I'm going to be happy. I wrote us off when Soroka got hurt again, and then Acuna got hurt. I'm like, I'm done. We're not doing anything. And then
can you imagine if they had
even
him
when
right
we got
now,
the Jock Peterson deal, we had Jock Peterson. I was still like, what are we doing? Like, I know our division's trash, but like we have no chance. And then we just
Why does Jock Peterson dye his hair like Eminem's first album?
I know, right? He's a goofball. He's an absolute goofball.
He's weird.
We got a dugout full of them.
Yeah, that's what. But yeah, if they still had Acuna too right now, the way that team's hitting, that's a good lineup. It's a really good lineup. But I just kind of, which is weird, because actually, you want to talk about teams I hated. Let's go back to like childhood. Okay, when the only thing on TV was the Braves on TBS and the Cubs on WGN.
Yep.
And I couldn't stand either of them. And the Braves announcers just pissed me off. And plus, I remember there was a part of me too who the Sid Bream play, the slide at home.
He was out.
And my dad.
I'll admit to that.
I remember how pissed my dad was. And he called him Sid Sucks Bream for like I don't even know how long. That was what he called him. Sid Sucks Bream. He just hated him. But yeah, no, I think it'd be cool. It's cool to see them there. I just like the team, and so if they lose, I'm not going to – I'd be happy for you for sure because –
No, like I said, I'm happy either way. I have no idea how we just got in there. We're getting hot at the right time. And
you spent some time with Altuve, didn't you?
I did not spend time with Altuve.
Oh, it was Kyle Tucker. Aaron Compton.
Yeah, Aaron Compton did. Yeah,
Compton spent time with him at the Greenville Astros. Okay, and you were with Kyle Tucker.
I was with Kyle Tucker, and we had Daz Cameron.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, thanks again for joining us. And
man, anytime.
We'll be in touch. We'll do it again.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. I think that wraps us up for this this segment anyways. Then we have to come back and do 3-bagger. So we're not going anywhere. Well, we are going somewhere. I'm going to end the broadcast, but then we're going to come back with a quick NFL 3-bagger week 8. Only be about a 15-minute show.
Lock of the century. We're 1 up in the lock of the decade.
Well, you're 0-1 in the lock of the decade.
Yeah, that's why we're going lock of the century.
You're 1 up.
every time.
Okay. Real quick, want to thank sponsors: Swing Juice, Napoli's, YourDailyLocal.com, Jones Pest Control, Mean Sales and Service, Icy Inc., and the Me, Myself, and Rye podcast. We're going to take a quick break. Like I said, we'll be back in just a few minutes with the 3-bagger show. Stick around.